when the Senior Max final number 1 gets underway at 11 local time. So, let's run you through the starting order for Senior Max second chance heat here for round 2 of the 2018 season. Pole position, it's Kairo Kivi. Alongside him will be Sweden's David Remy with Regina Grinnerup and Alfie Haralambus on row 2. Eriksson Fred and Juho Parviainen row 3. Job Rapanje and Samuel Harrison on row 4, followed by Patrick Rundqvist and Miles Apps row 5. That's your top 10 with Tim Rolke, Christopher Saxe, Julian Werteler, Emily de Hoys, Matthias Jensen and Rick Boothorn rounding out the 16 strong. So now they will be going into the formation lap. Top 10, it's Kivi on pole with Remy Grinnerup, Haralambus, Fred, Parviainen, Rapanje, Harrison, Rundqvist and Apps. That is your top 10. So it's going to be a case of seeing who is skilled enough and who wants it enough to get into an opportunity of scoring points. Out of the top 15 drivers in both Senior Max finals taking place later on today, as Kivi and Remy will now have to set the rolling start formation pace as everyone's now starting to slow. We have a couple of drivers at the back, which looks to be Boothorn and Jensen, that need to just quickly catch up with the rest of the field, as Kivi and Remy are getting everyone bunched up behind into formation. So race director telling the field to slow down as they're about to get their first race of the day. This is the first bit of Senior Max proper action we'll see here in Sweden, with everyone neatly in order. 16 competitors ready to put the pedal to the metal here in Sweden. It's time for second chance heat number 2. It's the Senior Max crowd. Race director is waiting, revs rise, lights go out, and we head down into turn number 1, and it's nearly 3 abreast in the mid part of the field, heading into that fast sweeping right-hander. And it looks like it's still Kivi and Remy at the front of the field. And, oh, that's a very brave move by whoever went out around the outside at turn number 3, went around 2 competitors. I've got a feeling, was that Boothorn? Rick Boothorn, I think, has just done one of the overtakes of the day, if not the season so far. Round the outside of 2 other competitors going into turn 3, as there's bumping and barging between front and rear bumpers in the mid-pack of the field. Leaders coming through towards the final couple of corners or so. And it looks like Kivi is still leading, Remy in second. So they're now look how close this is, as it looks like Remy's going for the lead up the inside into turn 1. The Swede takes it nice and cleanly there. And up into third place is Regina Grinnerup with Haralambus from the UK in fourth. Fred and Rapanje now complete the top 6. But look how close this field has concertinaed. And we're talking from first, and I think all the way down to at least 9th or 10th place, as there's more battles down the order between the bottom 5. And someone's gone very wide. That looks like it might have been Grinnerup that's just gone off the track with all 4 wheels, but manages to keep it composed. It's a nice save by the 224. Meanwhile, the top 2 are starting to break away, with David Remy now leading, ahead of Kairo Kivi, I think. Or is that Grinnerup up in second? Grinnerup's now up into second position. So Grinnerup's done a great job starting 4th, as it looks like Haralambus has gone ultra defensive on the 243 of Rapanje, who's tried to go up the inside. Has Haralambus lost out? He has, to the point of, I think, probably at least 1 position. But that was very close to call between him and Rapanje. So Remy leads and is taking along Regina Grinnerup along with Haralambus is in third. 4th looks to be Rapanje, and there's battles behind the 243, which will involve the 256 of Kivi, who's actually in the danger zone right now. The 256 is currently sitting in 6th position, but for how much longer will that be? No, I think he's out of it. I think Kivi is now out of it. He's out of the top 6 as the leaders come across the line. Remy from Grinnerup, Haralambus in 3rd. Rapagni Apps now up into 5th place. Miles Apps from 10th position. Cairo Kivi is all the way down in 9th. Sam Harrison also has some work to do if the Brit wants to proceed into the final stage. He's currently sitting in 10th position. So there is some great battling up and down the field, and it looks like David Remy might not be holding on to this lead, because here comes Regina Grinnerup in 2nd position and was just over 2.5 tenths of a second across the start-finish time last time around. So Haralambus is still 3rd, Rapagni 4th, Miles Apps into 5th, and it looks like Fred might have just lost out to Rick Boothorn going around the final corner. Oh, and that's ultra defensive going into turn number 1. The 223 was having to defend charges from the left and also from behind as well. So Boothorn. Oh my goodness, there's been an accident. There's been an accident at turn number 3. One car up on the hill and the other one to the other side of it. That has dramatically changed what was definitely a good race. 223 is off. That's Eriksson Fred is out of the top 6 and nevertheless out of the race too. So I'm just wondering who was the other driver involved. Now I'm just keeping an eye on the leaders. I'm thinking that might have been Miles Apps. No, Apps is still in it. He's 5th. It was Boothorn. It was Boothorn. 293 and 223 came together. So was Rick Boothorn attempting another outside overtake on turn number 3, and it came to his demise as a result of it. That's a real shame, because Boothorn had done a fantastic job up until that point. That is confirmed. Rick Boothorn and Eriksson Fred are now out of this race. So David Remy continues to lead ahead of Regina Grinnerup. Haralambus from the UK is still in 3rd, and I tell you what, this is going to be pretty good for the Brits in this particular race, because Rapagni is still there and has been passed by Miles Apps, who makes it a British 3-4 for the minute. 4 minutes and 35 on the clock, plus an additional lap. Rundqvist occupies the last qualification spot, but Emily de Hoys is on the move. The 272 started 14th and is now up into 7th and is on the cusp of possibly going into the top 6. There is still plenty of time for the Dutch lady to do so, and I think there is an opportunity for Emily to get past. And Emily has shown good pace this weekend. So Remy continues to lead. Haralambus is closing the gap to Grinnerup and took just over a tenth of a second out of the 224 on the last lap. Miles Apps in 4th, Rapagni 5th, Rundqvist 6th, and Emily de Hoys went over a tenth of a second quicker than the 258. As unfortunately Fred and Boothorn are just sitting by the fencing up at the top of turn number 3 after that coming together, which saw both drivers eliminated. But I have to say, I'm sort of looking at something now. We've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap. De Hoys is not the only one trying to move forward, but Sam Harrison is 2 spots away from getting into the top 6, but was nearly half a second slower than the 272 on the last lap. But that probably might have been due to battling with Vertela. And the gap now is just 2 tenths of a second. I don't think it's even going to be that now, because Rundqvist has got to watch behind, because De Hoys is trying to go for it and goes up the inside of turn number 3. That's a brilliant move by the number 272. Now up into the final qualification spot with just over 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. So there we go. On our stream, it is confirmed that Rundqvist has just lost out to Emily de Hoijs from the Netherlands. And that was, there was a gap, and Emily went for it and has now profited as well. 2 minutes plus an additional lap to go here in the Senior Max second chance heat, which has been full of drama and action all the way through when we went green over 8 minutes ago. Leader is still as David Remy from Dan Holland Racing in the 255. Regina Grinnerup is in second. Alfie Haralambous now in third and is closing on Grinnerup. Was exactly a tenth of a second quicker. Fastest lap of the race thus far, Miles Apps in fourth. The Brit goes and does a 53.239 with De Hoijs now in sixth position and has dropped Rundqvist to the tune of about 3/10 and is starting to pull away a little bit further. And with all that happening, Harrison on the last lap took just over a second out of Rundqvist. So Harrison might not get a top six finish as we have 60 seconds plus an additional lap to go here in the Senior Max second chance heat here. So 45 seconds on the clock. Your top six at the moment. It's Remy, Grinnerup, Haralambous, Apps, Rapagni and De Hoijs. So that means we'll have one from Sweden. I'm trying to get these nationalities right. But 23 seconds on the clock to go. So it's Grinnerup from Denmark. Then we have two Brits. Then we'll have two Dutch drivers. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time has now expired in the Senior Max second chance heat. So after this, David Remy, who continues to lead from Regina Grinnerup and Alfie Haralambous with Miles Apps, Job Rapagni and Emily de Hoijs, who I think has done a pretty good performance in this race, as has Apps himself. Haralambous started fourth and is currently in third. So David Remy will get the last lap board momentarily. So one lap to go, and David Remy continues to lead, and Haralambous is looking incredibly feisty. Doesn't want to settle for third. The Brit wants second, and he's closing on the back bumper of Regina Grinnerup as they go through turn 3 for the final time. Apps is in fourth, Rapagni fifth, De Hoijs sitting well in sixth place. And it looks like Grinnerup has gone ultra defensive to try and fend off Haralambous, who is on the back bumper right now. And this is allowing Miles Apps to close up too. So now it's a three-way battle in the dying stages of the race for second, third and fourth as David Remy is fast approaching the final corner. Checkered flag is out. And the winner, and automatically going through, is Dan Holland Race's David Remy. What's going to happen in the battle for second? It's Regina Grinnerup, Alfie Haralambous and Miles Apps take second, third and fourth respectively, with Job Rapagni and Emily de Hoijs going through to the Senior Max finals stage here in the second round of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy season. So let's run through the finishing order. David Remy takes the win ahead of Regina Grinnerup, Alfie Haralambous, Miles Apps, Job Rapagni and Emily de Hoijs, who automatically go through to the two Senior Max finals later on today, with Rundqvist, Harrison, Vertela, Kivi, Parviainen, Rolke, Jensen and Saxe being the 14 strong that finished, with that clash between Eriksson Fred and Rick Boothorn eliminating both drivers at the midpoint of the race.